IP or Internet Protocol. In this video, again, I'm going to talk about the IP, but with more detailed information about the IP or IP address. In the previous video, we learned about the IP address fundamental. Let me to review the IP address. After that, we can talk about the detail of the IP address in this video. You know that in TCP/IP networks, we are using the IP protocol, okay, for two reasons. The first reason is addressing. We learned about the addressing in the previous video, and also we are using the IP for another function. The name of this function is routing. I will talk about the routing in this video, and also we will learn about the routing in the future videos. But for now, let me to say that about the IP addressing or addressing function of the IP protocol, we learn about the IP address, okay? IP address is a 32 bits length address, and we can write this IP address in dotted decimal notation, DDN, okay, as you remember, and we can use this for example, address for a system for a host A.B.C.D, and you know that each of the, for example, A, B, C, and D can have a value, has a value between 0 to 255. This means that one IP address can take this value 0 to 255 in each octet, okay? Again, 0 to 255 in the third octet, and finally 0 to 255 in the fourth octet. This is the IP address, okay? In this video, we will learn about this IP address more than the previous video, and also we will learn about the routing, and finally we will have more information about the IP address. But don't forget that talking about the IP address should be continue in future videos and future courses, because the IP address or IP protocol is one of the most important protocols in the TCP/IP networks. We will learn about the IP more and more in the future videos. Okay, let me to start to talking about the IP in this protocol. You know that one of the most important function or criteria of one address is the uniqueness, as I mentioned before. IP address should be unique. Why? Because when we need to send the traffic, we send data to one system, we need the uniqueness of IP. Let me to show you. Assume that for PC1, I'm using this IP address 1.1.1.1. That's it. And also for a PC2, we are using, for example, 1.1.1.2. And also for PC3, okay, we are using this IP address again, 1.1.1.1. As you can see here, we have two systems, PC1, two hosts, PC1 and PC3 with the same IP address. We call it duplicate IP address. And duplicate IP address is not acceptable in the TCP/IP networks. For example, assume that now PC2, okay, needs to send traffic to PC3, okay, and you know that it should send the traffic with a source IP or SRC IP, source IP, and also with the destination IP address, destination, okay, IP. Each traffic in the networks has one source IP and also one destination IP, okay? You can use, instead of the source IP, SRC IP as the source and DST IP as a destination, okay? Here, when a PC2 needs to send traffic to PC3, PC2 should use in source IP its IP address 1112, and destination IP is, because this is the IP address of the PC3, 1111 or quad 1. You know that when you are using this packet should be accepted, should be received with the only PC3. But because the PC1 also has this IP address, this traffic, okay, now may be received with the PC1, because here we didn't address to PC1 and PC3 with the unique IP address. Because of that, it's so important, and it's one of the most important criteria of the IP address, that it should should be unique. For example, for PC3, we use 1113, okay? Because of that, you can send traffic from PC2 to PC3 with the source IP of 1112 to destination IP of 1113, okay? Uniqueness is so important, as it is one of the most important criteria of the IP address. But let me to ask you one question. The question is that, is the uniqueness is the sufficient and the only criteria with, for example, IP address that we need? This means that if one IP address is unique, okay, it's sufficient and we don't need another feature, another criteria for IP address. Let me to talk about this feature, okay? Let me to talk about the answer of this for example, question that uniqueness is sufficient for the IP address, or we need another criteria for one IP address. You can imagine one city. For example, in our city, okay, we have many houses. Okay, if we have many houses, and you know that every house should have one address. For example, all of the hosts in one city. For example, this is a city has a unique IP. In each city, we have many streets. Look at here. This is the streets 1, streets for example A. And after that, we have a street B. Here is a street, for example, B. You know that all of the houses in the street A has the address, and this address has a common part for all of the houses in this, for example, street. For example, assume that we have host 1 and we have house 1 and house 2 in this street A, and house 3 and house 4 in the street, for example, B, okay? The address of the house 1 is, for example, the city name. You can use this structure, city name. After that, a street name, for example, a street name. And after that, the number of the hosts, okay? This is the number. For example, the host 1 address is London. Okay, after that, the street name is street A, okay, and after that, the number is 10. This is the address of the host 1, okay, host 1. But the address of the host 2 is, okay, again with the same structure, city name, street name, number, London, street A, and after that, for example, the number of hosts is 11. Okay, this is the address of host 2. Let me to write the addresses of the host 3 and host 4 here. Look at here. It's so important to understanding everything correctly. Host 3 and host 4. The host 3s and host 4, the house 3 and house 4, okay, has the address of the street B, and after that with the for example number 10 and also number, for example, 20, okay? You know that these houses, host 1 and host 2, okay, are using the same city, the same street and city number, okay, the same city and also a street name. Okay, London, street A, London, street A. And also host 3 and host 3 and host 4 are using the same city and same street, okay? But in the between the host 1 and host 2, okay, we are using the different number. This is the unique, this is for uniqueness. And also in the street B, between the house 3 and house 4, we are using the different number for the for these two houses, okay? And also, you know that we don't have any relevance between the number in the city, in this, for example, street B and street A, because they are residing in different streets. For example, as you can see, the host 1 and host 3 are using the same number. It's not important. And also the host 4 and host 3 or host 2 are using a different number. Again, it's okay. Okay, this means that in some part of address, all of the houses in one street should use the same, for example, name, city name and street. Okay, and also